Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. This is episode 4 on a tutorial in Pygame, how to make a platformer game. Today in this episode we are going to be learning about players' movement and directions, maybe if we have time, gravity, and I will work on collisions and tile bases in the next episode. Today it's mainly just going to be all focused on movements, because we made an entity class in the last episode, and this will hold all of the enemies' positions and all of the enemies' attributes as well as the players. But what we want is to make the entity move, and that would mean the player can move and also an enemy sprite can move as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what a player will have is a direction with up, down, left or right. And we can always just give it a up equals false and then do that, but then there'd be so many if statements it might get confusing. So what we will actually do is make a vector. Now if you don't know a lot about maths or vectors, I'd recommend learning into it. But all you need to know is a vector, or a vector 2, because it will be two-dimensional, is like a list with two values in it that you can change, and you can do other mathematical equations with. So for now, we're not going to go too in-depth with vectors, because it's going to be quite simple. So right now we're going to do self.direction equals, and then pygame.maths, because it's part of maths package, and vector2. And if you don't give it a value, it's automatically valued at 0, 0. So we can give it a default speed. I like the default speed to be 500. And why such a large number is because it's not how many pixels we're going to move a second. Remember, when we're multiplying by delta time to make it as smooth as possible, it's going to be a less than 0 value. So this is going to have to be a bigger number to make it look like it's going a bit faster. You can also change it to be 1, but you probably won't even see it move because it'll be so small. Do we need any others? I don't think we'll need any other variables right now. So in the player, we will make a couple of functions. So input, and we will just pass, so we will just ignore it, and we won't actually make a move function in the player class because other entities are going to be able to move, so we're going to do that in the entity class. Now we'll just do move, and we will need to give it delta time because we're not getting delta time from the entity class, and let's pass it from here. So in here we will get key. So the key is a dictionary, I think, of all of the keyboard inputs you've pressed. So we're gonna get pygame.key.getPressed, and that returns, I think it does say a dictionary. Oh, it just says scan code wrapper, but I think it's a dictionary, a boolean of all the dictionaries. Now, if the key is equal to, get the constant, and the constant is pygame.k for key underscore, and then we'll go for the D key for now, and indent, and we won't move, we will just set the direction. So self.direction, and then we're going to get the x axis, and we're going to set that to 1 because we're going right, right. And then elif, elif key is pygame.k underscore, and then a, the direction is going to be the opposite of what we're doing for when the D is pressed. So self.direction.x equals -1. And then if we're not pressing any buttons, then we're just going to set the x direction to 0. Otherwise, if you press the button and let go, it will keep on moving in that direction. Just something to know. So what we're going to do in the entity class is move whenever the direction is changed or the direction is set. So let's do another variable here. So we're going to copy this rectangle. So self.hitbox is equal to self.rect.copy. So we're going to copy everything in the rectangle. This is just so rectangles, I like to believe, is the position, and the hitbox is the collision area, because you can change the hitbox size and width and everything, but you can't change the rectangle's width and height, because if you do, the image would change as well. So I always prefer making another variable, just because an image might be massive but the hitbox might be a bit smaller, so you want to obviously edit the hitbox. You don't want to make the hitbox the image width and height. So self.hitbox.x plus equals self.direction.x. So we're going to multiply it after, because if you multiply something by 0, it's going to be 0, so it won't move at all. So we're going to multiply by self.speed, and then we're going to also multiply by delta time, so it's going to be smoother. So the direction, if it's going left or right, the speed of it, so how fast we're going to go, and to make it smoother per frame. And we're just doing this for the x-axis, so in the update loop we're just going to say self.move and then delta time, and we also need to call this, actually move this line up, so we're going to move everything and then animate the person. So self.input, so we're going to get the input and then move it if there is a change. So when we run it, self.hitbox.x. Okay guys, so I made a mistake. When we are changing the inputs, if we're not pressing anything, we need to make sure to set the X position to 0. That's where the error is. So this is right. Don't worry, nothing is wrong, even though that is said the error is here. It kind of is, because we're setting actually the direction to 0 when it should be a list. So let's go run this, and if we move, nothing happens, because we are actually changing the hitbox and not the rectangle. As I said, the rectangle is the position, hitbox is the collision area. So we're going to set the collision area to the hit position to the hitbox. So rect.center equals self.hitbox.center, because they're both rectangles, they have all the same variables. So when we move now we're moving. Cool. So we're going to have a couple of new functions. We won't worry about the Y direction, because right now we're not going to be doing gravity, but we will make the animations a bit better. So in the animations variable type thing up here, we're going to do self.flipped, and then that equals false. So flipping is literally rotating the image on the x-axis, and what we're going to do to make it look like it's moving in that direction, because right now it's always facing right, but we want it to face left when we're moving left. So what we're going to do is take the new image when we animate, and then we're going to do pygame.transform.flip, and we're going to flip the image, and that's how we get the image there. We're going to flip it on the x-axis, and that's the self.flip, because that's a variable, we're going to change it, and then false, because we're never going to flip it upside down. And when we run it, it's the same. So now that we've got the directions working and animations partly working, we're going to do self.flipped equals false, because when we're looking at and when we're moving right, we want to just keep the same image, and the image is default facing right, and then self dot true. So when we're moving left, we want to flip the image. So now we're moving right, but then when we move left, the image flips. And that's how we will make it more interactive, to say, yeah, we are actually moving left now, we are moving right. So even if you move like a little bit, it automatically stays as flipped because we moved it, and we're not going to change flipped unless we move into a different direction. So we can stay in that direction. Also, we are still using run. Let's go idle as default. So we're just idle. So let's do a inside the entity, because this will be for all of the entities. Diff get status. So this will do if self.direction.magnitude, so it sees if we're moving. So if that is not equal to 0, means we are moving. So we'll do self.status equals run. I think it's lowercase run. And then else we are going to be idle. We're not moving. So self.status equals idle. And then we need to call that in the player. So before we actually do the animation, we need to get status. So self.getStatus. And then we're idle, but then when we move, we run. So that's really simple of how to make a simple moving and interactive animations. And obviously we can now move, and it's pretty good. So if you wanted to, as we did in the world, we added the animation types. So remember, this returns a list of surfaces or images, as you'd say. And in the idle animation, what we did, we went into images, went into main characters and the player type, and right now it's Ninja Frog, but maybe in the future we would have customizable ones. You know what, I'll show you that right now. So copy this and do, before we load in the image, we need to say what image it is. So self.player_type is equal to the Ninja Frog, and then we just do that here. Self.playerType, and also here self.playerType. So that will do not the same. The world has no attribute. That's because we set the player attribute before we done the function. So let's quickly do that before and run. And look, the exact same image. But what other characters are there? There is Mask Dude or Pinkman. Let's do Pinkman. So if you don't want to make any errors, just simply copy it and paste that here. And look, now it's Pinkman. Why this is working is because all of them has the exact same names. So fall, double jump, hit, idle, run, wall jump, they're all the same in every single one. So you don't have to worry about renaming files or anything. So really simple. Again, it's because we've done the hard work before, it's going to be more easier to implement. Right now I do like Ninja Frog, and run that. So we've got Ninja Frog, and it's a nice character, but maybe in the future when we do UI and a main menu, when you play a new game, you will be able to customize and change your character. So a really simple video, not as long as usual, but I hope you did enjoy. Next episode we'll be learning about tiles and generating tiles, and also possibly in that same episode some collisions. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much.